let me rephrase this. Are you like investing into Bitcoin yourself right now? And are you watching what's happening with what it's worth and what it's gone down to? And like, where's your thought process?
I have no here. I do invest in Bitcoin, but if I watched it based on just the price, I'd be completely bald right now. What I do like is NFT. So for instance, we talked about Gary Vee, been following him for 5-6 years. He comes out with the NFT project. And I say, hey, it might be $3,500 at the time because Ethereum.
What is an NFT? We gotta explain.
It's a non-fungible token. So basically a digital asset that has a unique ID so that nobody else can duplicate it essentially. And that you have ownership of the asset. Similar to like if you had a piece of art, you want to know that the art is real. You want to know the provenance of that art. You want to know that it is from the artist that they said it was. And you want to know, hey, I'm the only one that has this art piece and it's not a counterfeit. Same thing with digital assets, whether it's art or other things. So I had one of his digital assets. I purchased it and it went up in price. It's probably down in price now. But I think I'm invested in his community. So I know who he is. I know a little bit enough about cryptocurrency and NFT to invest in that. I think where people go wrong is the Uber driver says, hey, have you heard of Dogecoin? It was just on Saturday Night Live. You should invest your life savings. And people are sending money to some random person that they don't know. And I think that's where the education piece comes in. And I think that's where a lot of people get burned is they're trying to make that money too quickly. Better than same thing with real estate deals. The only reason you get scammed or something happens is that you took a shortcut somewhere, probably with due diligence.
And what a lot of people speak about when it comes to NFTs, why can't I just take a picture of the JPEG or right click and save it as a JPEG, or just take a picture of something and say that I own it? What's the difference in doing that and actually owning an NFT?
It's because the NFT has almost like a digital fingerprint. So they know it's only you that has that NFT. And everyone talks about I can just right click and save. It's like, well, why are people buying Michael Jordan rookie cards for hundreds of thousands of dollars? It's just a piece of cardboard with a picture on it. You could print out your own at Staples, but it doesn't have the provenance. It's not the actual rookie card. It wasn't distributed. It hasn't been graded or rated. So the digital assets have the same features that I think collectibles do.
And you mentioned something earlier, a word called smart contract. I want you to explain what that is as well for myself, because I know it again. Maybe a smart contract I probably know up to 10%. Right. I want to know what it is for my viewers and listeners, and then where can we make use of it in the coming year, 2 years, 3 years? Where do you see this going?
Smart contract, I like to give the example of a vending machine. So if you go, you put $1 in the vending machine, you press A4 and you're expecting the Coke to come down. It's similar to that, right? There's no one sitting there at the vending machine making sure that the Coke's coming down. It's all done automatically.
I always thought that as a kid that there was somebody in the back that dropped your A4 Coke down. Go.
It's something automatically that's done because of the contract. Essentially, they know once you press A4, the electronics go down, it releases A4 and it comes down. Smart contract is programmed the same way. You said, hey, if Jazz makes $100,000 this year, 5% is going to go to each of his staff, no matter what. As soon as they see that you've made $100,000, 5% would immediately go out to them. As I said, it's dumb in the sense that you can't really change that once you have it. The problems that we're seeing is that these companies, they're open smart contracts, so everyone can see the code that's written them. Hackers can see the code. So the hackers are trying to find vulnerabilities because at the end of the day, it's people writing this code into these smart contracts. People make mistakes, and there's a lot of money housed into these smart contracts or affiliated with these smart contracts.
And so are the hackers are able to, using that same example, okay, so Jazz makes $100,000. He wants to pay 3 of his staff every time he makes $100,000, 5% each. Are they going in, changing it to 10% and then diverting where the money goes?
No, they're almost manipulating in the sense that suppose Jazz didn't name who the employees were and they go in and they put their name. So now all of a sudden you're paying 5% to them versus the employees because you didn't hard code in the contract who specifically we're speaking about. So they're finding loopholes in the code. It's just like if you hit the vending machine twice on the side and A5 will drop out a Coke, it's the same thing, right?
Or you just tip over the whole vending machine, for example.
They've figured out ways to do that, and because you can't change the contract, there's nothing really you can do. There's no real kill switches for a lot of these smart contracts where it's like, oh, something's going to happen. We have to kill the switch. And that's why cybersecurity, smart contract, people coming in and auditing these contracts to make them legitimate. But remember, a lot of these smart contracts have $500, $600 million. So these hackers are spending all day trying to find loopholes. Or they might send you a message and say, hey, Jazz, remember that we want to pay out those 5% to people. And you assign and say, yeah, I want to do that. But it was really, the message they sent you was really sending them the full $100,000 once they met it and you clicked on the wrong link, and all of a sudden your money's gone.
So from a security perspective, Stephen, what are some ways that the regular Joe and Jane can protect themselves?
I think being educated, I think understanding that, if it's too good to be true, to maybe stay away from it. Because a lot of these DeFi, decentralized financing protocols, they're offering 12%. That's why people are sending their money there. Because it's like, hey, this is guaranteed 12%. Yes, until that smart contract gets hacked or that DeFi protocol, now it's 12% of zero. You get nothing, you have nothing. So I think people have to understand where they're going. I think always playing with money that you're willing to lose as well is the biggest thing. And, understanding at least what the project's about. But it's really hard if you're investing in these things. There's no way of telling, whether it's FTX that goes down or a small decentralized protocol that was offering 12% returns goes down. It's always hard to tell.